I'm Andrew Zimmern. Louis Tian was one of the greatest Boston Red Sox pitchers of this or any other era. This is a vegetable Tian, his cousin. It's from Provence. It requires a proficient level of slicing skill that I can teach you in 10 minutes. Stick around. I'm making a Provençal Tian. And in this case, we're essentially taking all of the great flavors of Provence and turning them into a casserole dish or pie plate, pie tin, saute pan, however you want to cook this, using tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, garlic, onions, gold bar squash, and of course, capers, breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese, fresh thyme, and rosemary, and my favorite ingredient of all, my Andrew Zimmern Badia all-purpose Italian seasoning. Of course, we're gonna use olive oil to set this whole thing up. I'm gonna show you now how to do a casual chop. I've just cut this onion in half and I'm laying them down side by side. The reason I do that is when I get to the last one here, it's supported by this one. And I just put my finger on top as I slide my knife through. And then I just do 6 or 7 cuts, my first and last at an angle, so that I have what I'm hoping are uniform pieces. I'm gonna sprinkle that with salt. Salt will draw out the moisture in the onion. It will get them to caramelize quicker. I want a little bit of that thyme and rosemary vibe in the bottom of the pan. Now onto a slightly bigger knife. Tip of the knife for a thin slice never leaves the board. That is about as thin as garlic can be sliced. Let's get everything out of there. And this is going to be on the bottom of our Tian. I am going to slice everything about 1/8 of an inch thick. And I'm gonna bake it all together. And I want everything to be the same width. If I can get everything the same width, the eye appeal of this is gonna just be tremendous. So why aren't I putting my knife tip down and going down? Because I'd rather choke up on it and come straight down. I'm holding it the same way. I'm getting the same precision slice. But I'd have to go so high up to do that coming down, or use such a long knife, a really long knife, I'd lose control over it. I'd much rather choke up on something that's 2 inches high and just do it this way. Eggplant. Tomatoes. We'll probably need all of these. I'm gonna use the Romas. Notice I'm not putting my knife tip down. I'm sliding this through because the tomato is very soft, and I find using a sliding motion forward gives me the greatest precision and the greatest amount of safety. Parmesan cheese is going in here. My breadcrumbs. You know what? Let's put a little bit of thyme and rosemary in there as well. We have evenly distributed the olive oil so that all the breadcrumbs are moistened with it, and the cheese will set that aside. I put my roasted pepper onto the open flame to char it, and then I am going to use a paper toweling to pull off the skin. And I'm doing it gently. The paper toweling really grips it pretty well. And all I'm going to do is cut through very gently at the top here, like I'm gonna stuff a pepper, and I'm gonna reach in here with my finger and loosen any little edges of the filament. There's 4 places it attaches, and I'm lifting out the seed pod. Now, I'm going to turn that upside down. I'm going to use those strips, but I want to throw away this. So that's gone. Then I'm going to cut this in half, and then what I want to do is slice it, tip of the knife down on the board. Then these oddball pieces are just as valuable to me. They may not look as elegant, but they're going to cook up beautifully in the dish. And then the ends and these little bits from the inside, I just dice up. They have wonderful pepper flavor, and we're just going to scatter those on the bottom. Throw a little bit of thyme down, a little bit more rosemary. We already have some in there, but this is new fresh stuff. The trick here is to make sure that you go in the same order. You can call it eggplant, squash, tomato. You can call it purple, yellow, red. I really don't care. But the idea is that you are going to put these in the same order all the time, all the way around. Make sense? Right? Purple, yellow, red. And I find that's the easiest way to build these. It goes about an inch at a time. What are we going to do with our red pepper? Well, before I get to the final couple of inches, I'm going to put a couple pieces in between each one, but I'm going to be able to count how much I need, whether I can put 2 or 3 strips per, and so that's what I'm waiting for. We'll start out with a couple pieces of pepper there, and we'll just put them in between every eggplant and tomato. And you can see why I stopped 2 inches short, because by the time we put all of our peppers in to the last 2 spots, it's gonna be super tight. We're just gonna go in stripes, because I really do wanna pack this nice and tight. In the middle here, I'm just gonna make sure that I put my roast pepper strips sort of anywhere that I can find it. We are going to sprinkle some more fresh thyme, some more fresh rosemary, some rinsed capers. So we get little pops of salty acid in there. Sprinkle this a little bit of that Italian dried herb seasoning of mine. Am I going to burn the pepper by baking this? No, because it's going to be covered with aluminum foil. Bake it for about 25 to 30 minutes. So a half hour of cooking has elapsed. Oh, that is beautiful. It's just cruising along. And now we just want to sprinkle this around, because you want these to like bake and fill in the blanks and stuff, but you still want to see all of the rest of that prettiness. So it's now going to go in for about another half hour, 35 minutes. And then it'll be time to eat. Oh my gosh. You know, if you love to cook, you know this feeling where something comes out of the oven and it turns out so beautifully, you don't even want to serve it, but serve it we will. I like to serve it with the breadcrumbs on top, like this, and then spoon onions and capers and olive oil just against it. Put this down in the middle of your table with a roast leg of lamb or a whole roast chicken or a whole roasted fish, and your family is gonna go, they're gonna start applauding and jumping up and down in their chairs.